Good evening and welcome to The Bottom Line. News about your neighborhood and its condition. News that will allow you to make informed decisions. From downtown to Dover and everywhere in between, it's news that reaches the residents of Wilmington and Newcastle County. News that's real, relevant, revealing. News that you can truly use. Yes, it's The Bottom Line. Welcome to our first edition of The Bottom Line for the month of February. February 1st, unbelievable. Hopefully you had a wonderful day, and even better weather is scheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday. So definitely enjoy it, take advantage of it. Who knows when the next snowstorm is about to come our direction. Again, it's February, so it's Black History Month. It's also American Heart Month. So we have lots of information to share with you today. We have a couple of special guests, so you won't want to miss anything. My name is Nicole DeSarette, and the Bottom Line crew is in the house tonight. So again, don't change the channel. Don't change the channel. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of information about keeping your heart as healthy as possible. As I stated a minute ago, it is American Heart Month. What you may not know is that women are more susceptible to heart disease than men. The problem is that most women don't know enough to know how to avoid having difficulties with their heart. So I have some tips for you, and it will apply to men as well as women. Number one, you need to make sure that you are consuming a heart-healthy diet. And a little later in the show, our very own Abundance is going to show us how to make a great dessert. I can't wait to test it out. But something that will help your heart and not further damage it. When you are consuming foods, you want to make sure that you are eating a balanced diet. Maybe you've heard the term eat the rainbow. So you need to be eating fruits and vegetables that span from, if you remember from school, Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Eat all of them to get all of the benefits. Make sure you control your portion sizes. So I tell people this all the time. When you go to restaurants, they're giving you big plates with big portions. Learn how to control your portion sizes. And with modern technology, you can jump on a website and it'll tell you, for example, protein may be the size of a deck of cards. So there are ways that you can better visually gauge your portions. Another thing that you can do is to make sure you are consuming whole grains and limiting unhealthy fats. So there are fats that are beneficial to you. So for example, I'll share with you nuts. Most nuts are good fats. So for example, almonds and walnuts. Those are examples of good fats, good omega-3s and 6s. But you can't eat too many of them. But you want to limit unhealthy fats. You need to consume low-fat protein sources and lessen your amount of sodium. This is also helpful to plan ahead by creating daily menus. Sometimes our health and wellness goals get sidetracked because we haven't planned ahead. So you don't have those carrots and celery sticks and apples in your refrigerator, but you're stacked up on the cookies and the chips. So if you plan ahead and kind of go through your cupboards, that'll help you reach your health and wellness goals. So that's just a little bit about American Heart Month. And throughout tonight's presentation, we are going to give you bits of information about Black History Month as well. So I'm going to start it off. And since I talked about being heart healthy, it made sense to talk about someone who is a contributor to the state of our heart and our well-being. And I am speaking of Daniel Hale Williams. He was born on January 18th, 1856, and he died on August 4th, 1931. Dr. Williams is one of the first physicians to perform open heart surgery in the United States, and this happened in 1893. He also founded a hospital that had one of the first interracial staff, and that hospital was Providence Hospital. So if you'd like some more information, check out Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. Again, one of the first physicians to perform open heart surgery. I bet you didn't know that. Let you in on a secret. Neither did I. But that's what I enjoy about working on The Bottom Line. It gets me into the research so that I am better informed as I share information with you. All right, enough of me. The Bottom Line crew is waiting to share information with you. We have our captain, State Rep Charles Potter. We have that Republican, although tonight he may be switching over to Democratic. I'm not sure what he's doing, but you'll find out. None other than our own Cal Brown. We have Shaquem Nottingham, Deneen White. We have Brittany Michelle, and I think Abundance is going to make a special guest appearance as well. So stay tuned. Take it away, gentlemen.
Well, I tell you, it seems like I've been off for a long time, and I'm glad to be back. Before I get into it, we got a lot to talk about. But when Nicole was talking about all that bad food, you know, big portions at the restaurant, I know what to do with it. You know what to do with it?
I'm going to eat it.
Doggy bag. Doggy bag, right?
Bag. Okay.
I want all the food I paid for.
I want it,
So
me
I'm not
too.
gonna waste it.
No, we can eat it tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right.
Yeah, that means that's good for 2 portions then.
Well, look, I eat leftovers. I know there's a lot of people who don't eat leftovers. They want to cook something new every day. But let me tell you, Black History Month, you know, it's Black History every day, but since they say, well, this is the month for Black History, I want to do a Who Am I, and I know you're going to do one. You know, I used to be a hustler on the street. I was locked up for years in prison, and then through prison, I got to meet people from the Nation of Islam, and by any means possible. You know who that is? Malcolm X.
Brother Malcolm.
You know, Brother Malcolm. You know, he went from hustling on the street to really helping people out in their lives, and he did some really fantastic things. So I know you're going to say something about who you are.
Black history is big with me too, and I'm going to look more blacker this year.
More black? How black can you get?
People always try to say I don't look black enough.
You know?
But no,
okay. I didn't know you were sitting next to me.
I'm gonna give you a little. I'm gonna give you a little local black history, and,
Come on.
and I don't want to be biased, but
No.
this young man had a similar background as you said. He was shot on the streets of Wilmington. Went on to become a get a master's degree in computer science. Became one of the first black administrators at AstraZeneca.
Okay.
And this person's name is my own older brother, Scotty Brown.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
a
like
legend.
a legend in Wilmington.
A legend.
So I'm gonna be Scotty Brown tonight.
Okay, great.
You know, so
yeah.
he kind of made an impression on me to get off the street, go to school. He said, if you get educated, it's going to open a lot of doors for you.
Yeah.
And while I haven't reached the education plateau, I'm working on my master's degree currently.
You are.
And I thank God that I was able to graduate from college, although I was older.
But you never gave up.
I've never gave up.
And
so
that's the key.
I thank God for that.
You know, we got a lot happening in Wilmington, Delaware, throughout the state of Delaware. As you know, down in the General Assembly, we voted on the death appeal. It did not pass. It went down defeat. You had 16 yeas, 23 nays, and you had 2 absent, and then 1 person voted in the affirmative so she could bring it back. And you know, the death appeal has been out there for some time. It was sitting in the House for about, when I say the House, the General Assembly, for 15 years. Now, we could have got it out last year. We could have passed it, I believe, last year with some amendments, but people didn't want to do the amendments, and I actually gave them the vote total last year, which was exactly the number, and this year exact number. But there is some good news. I was just reading that a judge here in the state of Delaware has halted all executions in the state of Delaware. Were you familiar with that?
I am. I just seen that too. Breaking news that that they halt all capital trials.
All capital murder trials in the
Capital murder
state.
trials. So now I'll be honest with you.
You want to be honest with me? I support the death appeal, but I know you don't.
I do support the death penalty
Okay.
in certain cases.
All right. Such as?
Heinous murder.
Okay.
Sometimes brutal rape of women. I got a problem with that.
I have a problem with that, but you got to make sure you get the right person.
Well,
and
no,
that's the key
that's
right
it. Now,
there.
if a person is found guilty by a jury of their peers, and the evidence is irrefutable, I think that the death penalty is warranted. I'm not against the death penalty. There's some people, when they do crimes, I learned a long time ago, and it wasn't with me. Remember Beretta?
Yeah, I
said,
remember Beretta.
Don't do the crime
if you can't do the time.
Well,
let me say this. The reason why I think that if you imprison someone for life, two things happen. Number one, they're paying for the crime they committed. Number two, if you find out that that person is not guilty, then they have a chance to live their life, because death is final. You know, that's a chilling thing. If somebody was executed and they didn't do the crime, you find out they didn't do it. Plus, in addition to that, on every death appeal, the state spends $5 to $10 million. And so there's a lot of money, a lot of trauma during the lifetime of people's family waiting for someone to be executed, because it takes about 10 to 20 years because they're appealing over and over again.
And that's the problem I got with the death penalty. It takes too long to bring forward. I mean, you got people out here that massacred 20 and 30 people, and I cringe at the fact that they're sitting in prison. We're feeding them, they're getting educated, they're calling home, and they've ended the lives of 30 people. And I'm not going to feel sorry for them, because, you know, if you killed my mother and chopped her all up, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be a proponent of you dying.
Okay.
That's just how I feel about the death penalty. Little children that get murdered and killed for no reason. I'm not for them living. I'm not for them enjoying 30 years in the state penitentiary, writing books and taking interviews on television.
Well, let me read this. All pending capital murder trials and executions have been halted until the Delaware Supreme Court determines the constitutionality of the state's death penalty law. So that's big news. The temporary stay is issued by President Judge Jan Jordan on Monday, and expect this to be impactful for at least 4 of the death penalty cases, which are scheduled to go to trial in the next 120 days.
See, I'm a minister,
right?
And the death penalty was instituted by God Almighty, and so I felt that if it was all right with God, then it's all right with me. So, hey, the death penalty, it may seem a little violent, but the crimes warrant the punishment. Well, if you steal a loaf of bread, I don't expect you to be on death row.
Well, in other countries, they'll cut your fingers off.
Well, for stealing.
Yeah.
In America, we don't cut your fingers off. Maybe it'd be a good idea. But, you know, maybe keep people from stealing. I mean, you know, we steal. Some people steal out of hunger.
Sure.
I'm passionate with people.
Right.
If a kid didn't eat and he stole some food.
Then there's an exception.
But some people steal for a living.
Right.
And then maybe we need to cut back their living.
Let me run through a couple things here. You know, we had a big snowstorm in Wilmington, and we weren't really prepared for that here. We had at least 16 to 18 inches of snow. There's no problem with doing downtown, but I want to see more of the side streets done. Me, along with several other state elected officials, said we will allocate money to make sure side streets are done so people can get around, because people got to get to work as well. Also down in Dover, we passed a resolution on slavery apology, and that was done from the Senate and the House. Coming up this month, February, we're going to be naming the court building after the Honorable Judge Lenny L. Williams. We want to thank Sam Guide and a host of other people, and we'll talk about that more down the line. The Iowa caucus, and we're going to end on this, is taking place, and I believe tomorrow Hillary Clinton tonight will be victorious. Trump will go down in defeat. Cruz will win the Republican nomination, and you're a big Trump supporter. I don't know why, but.
Well, I wouldn't say a big Trump supporter. I don't have many people to choose from at this point. Actually, my favorite candidate probably will be Senator Rubio.
Oh, okay. He's pretty sharp, though.
I like Senator Rubio, but he's not going to win. So, I'm down to the point where with the Democrats, you're at the bottom of the barrel. You got Hillary Clinton, who's just in all kind of legal problems.
Now, Cal, come on. What does Trump know? He has no substance whatsoever. All he knows is that he's going to build a wall. That takes a lot of thought.
Well, he's got a little more than that. You just
what
can't.
Does he have?
You just can't make a lot of.
He got some money after 3 bankruptcies, but.
Well, yeah, but that's you know what the old saying in America
What's that?
is at first you don't succeed.
Try again.
That's
we're going to come back to this conversation. I think we're going to go to a short break. Nicole has an interview, and we got the young squad out there. They want to talk about Flint, Michigan, what's going on in Flint. So we'll be back. We're going to talk some politics.
All right.
All right.
I came ready.
Stay tuned to the bottom line. We're going to a short break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the bottom line. I hope that you are enjoying the show so far. The one thing that I love about the crew is that you never know what to expect. So I tell you, State Rep and that Republican, they together are quite a combination. So more to come, more to come. So tonight we're talking about Black History Month. We're talking about American Heart Month. And I just want to say this about Black History Month. Black History Month is not just the month of February. Black history happens every day. We are actually creating history based on the choices that we make or fail to make. I recall when I was a grade school teacher, and I was the only teacher of color at that school. You know, if a child asked me about Martin Luther King Jr. in October, I didn't respond. You know what? You have to wait until January or February for me to answer your question. That's not what it is. We need to use and take advantage of teachable moments. So Black history impacts more than just the Black community. So Black history is every day, and be mindful that you are creating history with every decision that you make. I have a mover and shaker here in the studio, and I'm excited about it. And we've been talking about American Heart Month, and I want to share this with you. He has a program, and one of their taglines is that we serve the broken-hearted. That's just powerful, powerful in and of itself. I am happy to present to you my friend, Mr. James Parker. How are you?
I'm doing good, Nicole.
And he's got his red on. So, you know, we've got Valentine's Day coming. We've got American Heart Month. We all kinds of celebrations in February. And I know that you do something that happens once a month, and it's about to come up. So if you could share with our viewing audience a little more about the King's Table.
Yes, the King's Table is something that we came up with about 4 years ago, where we go into impoverished areas, and we set up anywhere with tables, tablecloth, china, silverware, and we serve the homeless or the brokenhearted. It's not just really about the homeless, because some people have homes, but they don't have food.
Talk about it.
And when you get to a place where you have to decide on whether you're going to put gas in your tank or get food, then we're dealing with a big problem. Mm-hmm. So one thing we do is that we serve the people. We don't let the people get up to get the food. We serve them. It's like it's a 5-star restaurant. You know,
a mobile one.
Right, a mobile one.
Because it moves from location to location.
We do it. We done it on baseball fields. We done it on basketball courts. We set up anywhere and everywhere. We started first down at Christina Park. And I remember going down there, and my red stands for the blood of Jesus Christ, so I got to say what I got to say. When I went down there, I was going to set up under the pavilion, and God said clearly, do it in the parking lot. I didn't understand what that meant, but it wasn't until people started driving over the bridge and seeing us in the parking lot. It would have been harder for people seeing us in the pavilion. Right. So when they came to see, like, wow, this is a beautiful setting, you know, they wanted to know what it was all about. So we was just able to share with them, and I understood this is why we need to be in a parking lot, in a basketball, someplace that's not hidden, but where we can serve people.
Right. And as you're talking, James, our viewing audience is able to see some shots of the King's Table in action. Wow.
And to be right next to the river, it looks like a 5-star setting.
Right.
And we give out our schedule in advance. So we can't go track down people and tell them that we're not going to be there because it's raining or it's snowing. So you'll see in some of the pictures where it's raining, somewhere it's even snowing, and we were out there shoveling the snow and still setting up. Because just because it's bad weather doesn't mean people are not hungry.
Correct, 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 correct. And so you do this every month.
Yes.
And the next time it's going to happen is the day before Valentine's Day, Saturday, February 13th, correct?
Yes.
Where's it going to happen?
At Christina Park.
Still at the park, all
Yes.
right.
And
What's the time frame?
The time frame, we set up about 8 o'clock. So we usually serve breakfast about 9. Then we do lunch. Matter of fact, yes, it's 3. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wow.
So we're out there all day. And we also have abundance of food that we also have out there where people can actually, we have bread, we have lettuce, we got different vegetables, so people can also come down there and get a bag of groceries and leave with a plate of food.
Great, great. People don't need to sign up or anything, they just need to show up, right?
Nope, they don't even got to speak to us.
Just come on in.
Just come on in. We don't
and
bother.
be treated like royalty.
That's all it is. And even when they ask for seconds, we put it on a new plate. We don't put it on the same plate. It's a 5-star restaurant.
If people are interested in helping you, is there a number that they can call and contact you, or are you looking for sponsors? Are you looking for donations to fund these projects?
We're looking for people with a willing heart. Whatever God lays on your heart, come on down and do. We're not there to back anybody off. This is about the people.
Right.
This is not about us. And we have clothes. People will bring clothes down. They will bring shoes down. I mean, people are out there and they're in need.
Right.
And we can't keep saying God is blessing us, but he's not blessing us enough to bless other people.
Right, right. And it's about giving.
Yes.
I just did a blog last week about give and take. And a lot of people are doing more taking than they're doing giving. And I think if you put it into practice, when you give, you don't have to worry about running out.
Right. And that's the great thing about it. We run out of people before we run out of food.
So, I mean, that's just the Bible in action.
Right.
You know, what, five fish and 2 loaves?
That's it.
So,
2 fish and 5 loaves. You're exactly right.
So it just never runs out. So thank you. And you do more than just the once a month. Can you briefly talk about what happens every week?
Yes, we have this other ministry called Eyes on Christ, where we give out food at Rose Hill Community Center. And on Mondays, we give it out from 6:30 to 8. On Thursday, we give it out from 6 to 8. And on Sundays, we give it out from 10 to 2. On Thursdays, we also do dinner. So we also cook dinner, and you can come and get food. And on Sundays, we do breakfast and lunch.
Wow. You are a busy young man.
Yes.
So thank you for everything that you do in terms of reaching the brokenhearted. You're making a difference. So I'm proud to call you my friend.
Well, thank you very much, Frank.
All right. So we are getting ready to have a demonstration. When you talked about an abundance, we got our very own abundance right here in the studio. She is the owner of Drop Squad Kitchen. Check her out down by the waterfront. I tell you, you will have a hard time making a decision. I was there the other day, and I know I was driving them crazy because everything is just wonderful. And I'll give you a secret. The Bottom Line crew, they've been in the studio fussing over who gets to help Abundance because they want to be the first taste testers. So now I put you all on blast. Abundance, you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, show us how it's done.
Welcome everybody to the Bottom Line. Today we are making a raw vegan, which means no plants, no dairy, no meat, and it's a raw apple crisp. What we are using for our apples is a green apple. What we are using to make the crisp is walnuts, that is our flour, some raisins, that is our sweetener, and some raw coconut flakes, that is our butter. All right, you can find these raw coconut flakes at your ShopRite, your Acme, any of those types of places. And what we're gonna use for a caramel is a raw coconut nectar. So this is like a coconut sugar. So the first thing that we want to do is put all of our ingredients. We have 2 cups of our flour. We have, yes. We have 1 cup of raisins.
That's instead of sugar, right?
And we have,
That's instead of the sugar?
yes. And we have a 1/4 cup of coconut flakes.
You didn't tell who's
Go
helping you
ahead.
out here.
Oh, yes, we have our representative, Charles Potter.
All right. And who else?
And we have my,
Calvin Brown.
well, I know who you are, but I was trying to think of, you know,
Good
That
name for me.
Republican.
That's all right.
that Republican, right.
Put that in there?
Yeah, we got the coconut flakes. You know, I
Yes.
took home ec 4 years.
Oh, you did?
Cooked in Potter. Yeah.
We about to find out. Well, this is the uncooking 101 right here on the bottom line. So that's it. We have flour. Most people make apple crisp with the flour and butter, and then they put it all together and they let it melt in the oven. We're not doing all those things because once you heat something, that means that you lose a lot of the nutrients. So what we want to do is we want to be unapologetically healthy. We want to use natural sweeteners like a raisin. At the store, I use dates. We want to make our own butter, and we're just going to use coconut because coconut, when you blend it up, the oils start coming out and it tastes like butter, and then our walnuts are our flour. So we're just going to lock our lid in. And we're just going to go ahead and let it blend. While that's blending, we're going to simply slice an apple. I got my cutting board today. You want your apples to be nice and thin because you want to have a nice seamless taste in your apple crisp. So at the end of the day, after you've sliced everything, why don't you have a taste? Why don't you have a taste? What works really well in this recipe is a red delicious apple. However, it's extremely sweet. So by having the sweetness of the raisins or the dates mixed in with the sourness of the green apple, it makes a perfect blend. So at the end of the day, you want your apples to look like this. Okay. All right, and we just arrange them nice and neat. There's no fanciness.
You didn't put any liquid in here. Why?
No, you're just gonna keep blending it. What happens is when you have a nut, it goes from a flour and it goes into a butter. That's how they make almond butters and stuff like that. So what would happen is we just keep letting it go and go and go. And the oils are getting extracted until it starts to look like this. Why don't you have a taste? This is our crisp.
Okay, Cal, you want to open your mouth, Cal.
We don't go that way in the Republican.
So I'm just gonna put the crisp on the top.
That tastes very
Nice, isn't it?
And I'm going to, every apple crisp needs some ice cream. That's another show. This is some vegan ice cream.
You made this?
We make everything at the Drop Squad Kitchen. DropSquadKitchen.com, Wilmington Riverfront. And we have a little bit of cinnamon we're gonna add on here because most apple crisps have a cinnamon. And for our caramel, we are using 100% organic, raw, vegan coconut nectar. This is our caramel. You can use date caramel. And how do we make date caramel? You will never believe it. Water and some lemons and some dates just blended up. Now, isn't that a beauty? See, y'all?
See what I can do here?
Now I want you to taste. You have a taste. I have a fork here for you to taste. And everybody in our Bottom Line crew in Comcast 28 Studios gets a special treat tonight.
She said, just have a taste.
Did you taste?
You can't let the Potters just have stuff.
Right?
Yeah, they'll take over.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's good. It's really good.
There you go.
From a good Democrat.
Okay.
No, she's an independent.
Well,
And that's the bottom line.
that ain't the truth, though.
Oh!
But I'm not going to blow her up on the show because some of you won't go get the good food if she tells you so.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for staying here with us on the Bottom Line. We're here for another roundtable discussion. But before we get into that, in the name of Black History Month, we all chose a certain person that we wanted to recognize. And you can guess, or we all can guess who that person is. Who wants to go first?
You.
Okay. So who am I? Born in 1944, I'm a political activist, scholar, and author. I was considered a prominent counterculture activist and had close relationships with the Black Panther Party through my involvement in the Civil Rights Movement. Anybody guess who I am? Have another hint?
I know.
You know? You need the other hint?
I'm kind of young, so yeah, I need to know.
Okay. I was arrested, charged, and tried and acquitted of conspiracy in the 1970 armed takeover of a Martin County courtroom.
I still wasn't there.
Okay, who am I?
Angela Davis.
Yes,
Hey,
Angela Davis.
Angela Davis.
Throwing all. Okay, somebody go next.
Ladies first.
All right, so I'll go. Let's see. I was an educator who founded a college and served as its president. I also served in several capacities during the Roosevelt administration, including being head of the Division of Negro Affairs and the National Youth Administration and advisor on selecting officer candidates for the Women's Army Corps. I was born in 1875. I died in 1955.
Still wasn't around there.
Well, of course you weren't
Of
around.
course
neither
you weren't
was I.
around. It's because you
question is, do you know your
study
history?
your black history.
Um,
Okay, and then she has one quote that I absolutely love.
okay,
And I just told you it's a she.
okay.
One of her most famous quotes, I think, is, I plunged into the job of creating something from nothing. Though I hadn't a penny left, I considered cash money as the smallest part of my resources. I had faith in a living God, faith in myself, and a desire to serve.
As beautiful as that was, I am ashamed to say that I still
Is
don't
it
know.
White? That sounds like something she would say.
Who was it? Who
No,
was
Mary
it?
Bethune-Cookman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
You got that right? In your mind.
Okay,
That's
somebody
Nicole
in the studio
getting
guessed
right.
it. Okay,
Yes.
your turn, Shaquille.
ahead.
I hope
So-
this is easy.
Now I grew up from rags to riches.
Okay.
I was the United States Senator from Illinois.
Okay.
I was also a member of the Illinois Senate from the 13th District.
Okay, we all know who this is.
My alma maters include Occidental College, Columbia University, where I got my bachelor's, and Harvard Law School, where I got my JD. Who might I be?
1, 2, 3.
Barack
Obama.
All right. Definitely made history.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm the 44th POTUS of the United States.
Well, that would have, yeah.
Yeah, that would gave it away, but you know.
Yeah.
So, getting into the conversation, we are talking about the situation happening in Flint. Unless you're living under a rock, you know about the situation they're having where they have no clean drinking water.
Yeah.
Just, do you see
Yeah.
the pollution that's happening in their water coming through their sinks and their community? So, I'm just,
What's crazy to me is the fact that they're saying that this been going on for years. We're just seeing it now.
wow.
And it's really bad because Flint is not the only part that's being struck with this. Detroit, which is an hour and a half away, Flint has brown water.
Right.
Detroit has yellow. Yeah. So Detroit's not as bad as Flint. What the people in Detroit are doing, also I want to put this out there, what the people of Detroit are doing, they are actually boiling their water because it's still safe for them to do that. However, the people of Flint, if they boil that, their family's dying of lead poisoning. Not even from drinking it because of the pollution, from boiling contaminated water, they would consider them at a health risk. So they can't even boil their water. They can't
They
bath
can't
in their
even
water.
try
They
to
can't
purify it at
exactly.
all.
Exactly. So it's the whole Michigan area. But what strikes me the most is the fact that if this was to happen in Beverly Hills, it would not go on for more than 2 hours.
Well, why exactly would we even put that example out there? Because it would never happen in Beverly Hills.
It would never happen in places
this
like
is
that.
a situation that was created, right?
No, actually, they have messed up piping. They never fixed the pipes. So they, rather than spending the money to fix the pipes, the
Right.
governor or the people in the government in that area spent more of the money on a cheaper resource rather than getting something that would actually resolve this problem a long time ago.
So this
Right.
is just a
And
result
so it was
of neglect.
created,
Yes.
right?
Of just taking care of the city. And another thing that just amazes me, you know what it reminds me of? Remember Hurricane Katrina? Everybody was stuck in the dome, and where help came eventually, but it's like the community, the government, it took them so long to just step in.
Yeah,
and
you
I feel like the
kinda
same
wonder
thing
where
is
everyone
kind of
is.
happening. And I mean, you can't ignore the fact that this particular area, I mean, Flint, that I know about, that particular area is highly populated, you know, of black people, of minority people. Just like that was. I mean, I'm not the only one who sees this similarities between that. So I'm just happy to see that so many people have come together. Nice to see black people coming together, donating water, you know, but just pulling things together last minute. I know that you're a part of the organization who's giving some water.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us about what you're doing.
Okay, so I mentioned last week on the show that we were going to Flint. We were supposed to be going this weekend. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, that blizzard of 2016, we decided to push it back 2 weeks. And the reason why is because we feel as though we need to give more people some time to be able to donate to us. We need to give more people some time to actually realize what we're actually doing and what we're trying to resolve from the situation. Now, just because we're going February 13th, just because we're going February 13th, does not mean that that's the only time you can donate. We will actually be taking multiple trips back and forth until this gets resolved.
Because this is projected to be a long-time problem.
It will.
I mean, that is a huge thing to have to take care of before
Yes.
it's resolved.
Yep.
So the more help, the better.
And so what we're doing is we're raising not only water, we want water filters, we need baby supplies, we need maybe possibly even if anybody can donate some food to some families, that would be beneficial to that area. Because not only do they need water, but sometimes people need filters. So just in case they don't have enough water, they can get a filter to at least try to, you know, purify some of the water.
Some of the water. I mean, think of
Yes.
how many things you use in your daily life besides just drinking that you use, you know, with water. And we have 2 minutes left. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I just think that in the coming weeks and leading up to when you're leaving, that we'll start bringing our viewers some information about becoming more knowledgeable on how to test their water, because it's not just in Detroit, it's not just in Flint, it's not just in Michigan. It's all throughout our country where blacks are living predominantly. So lead is an extreme concern in our communities. I worked on a federal grant with doing lead remediation in houses in the city of Wilmington because our housing stock is so old. And you wouldn't believe how many children are being poisoned daily
from the exposure.
Where they eat, play, live, sleep. And so, you know, you would think that this is a thing of the past, but it's very real, it's very relevant, and we would love to just educate our viewers next week about, you know, where they can look, what websites to go to kind of educate themselves so they can start taking more caution throughout their daily living.
Now, we also have a flyer that will give everybody the information in reference to how to donate the water. You can easily drop off the water to Sepia Cleaners, which is located at 336 South Hill Street, Wilmington, Delaware, in the 19801 area code. Or if you would like pickup service, I am definitely offering to pick up the water or any supplies that you may need. I'll be doing pickup service all this week and all next week, except for next Friday. I need a day to myself.
So should we just have the viewers go to the Bottom Line Facebook page to find out more information?
Yes,
Yeah,
they go
if you
to
can post it there.
Yes, absolutely. And also my contact information will be there as well.
Okay, awesome. Bottled waters, baby wipes, and
All that good stuff.
All the help that you can provide.
Anything you can do. We also would like some type of monetary donation if people are willing to, because also there's a lot of costs and fees involved with doing something
and getting
like
the
this.
supplies
Yes.
there. All right, so there you have it.
any help is help.
Any help is help, yes. And remember to go to the Bottom Line Facebook page for more information.
Right, thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the sports segment of The Bottom Line. First of all, I want to say that if you need insurance needs, come over to me and Charles' new office. He is doing his thing with that insurance, and I am in the midst of tax season. There are many people coming to see me. If you want quality work for less prices, then you come and see me and I'll take care of you. Guaranteed to get you done. All right, let's get into the sports. A shocker. Early Saturday morning, my girl, who I believe is the best tennis player on this planet, was beaten by Angel Kerber. She beat Serena Williams 6-4, 3-6, 6-4. Up until this point, Serena Williams had not lost a single set in the entire tournament. That's why it was so shocking to me that she lost. I didn't see the match. However, anytime Serena Williams loses, it seems like to me that she beats herself by committing unforced errors, and I believe that's probably what happened. Serena stays at 21 major titles. I believe she will continue to win, just a small setback as she's lost the last two finals that she's been in. On the men's side, early Sunday morning, Novak Djokovic defeated his old friend Andy Murray, and it was in straight sets, and he beat him 6-1, 7-5, 7-6. This was Novak's sixth Australian Open title. He's beaten Murray 5 consecutive times in the finals. So Murray must be feeling a little bit down and out, about meeting his old friend. Novak has won his 11th title, major title in that match. Okay, moving on to the NBA. Golden State Warriors visited the Philadelphia 76ers on Saturday night, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The Sixers were absolutely fabulous in that game. I'm talking about they looked like they was trying to win. Really. They lost by 3 points, and it came on a late Barnes three-pointer that lifted the Warriors over the 76ers. And I've been watching the Sixers of late, and they look like they're coming around. They're going to be a pretty decent team next year. It's probably too late for this year, but next year they're going to look pretty good. Now, the Golden State Warriors are just simply golden. They are now 44-4. And no question, they have the best record in the NBA. And the only way I see them losing the championship this year is if they have a lot of injuries and they fall to the injury plague. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the San Antonio Spurs on Saturday night, and I thought that was a little shocker too, because Cleveland's the best team in the East. They just look like they are the best team in the East. And Cleveland, I think Cleveland is going to be facing the Golden State Warriors for the finals. Right now, San Antonio is 39-8. Golden State is 44-4, and they both lead their respective divisions. Oklahoma City is in the Northwest Division over in the Eastern Western Conference at 36-13. Okay, moving on to the NFL. The Carolina Panthers has been the best team in the NFL all season. And I believe they will continue to do so when they face off against the Denver Broncos this week in the Super Bowl. Many people believe that Denver will win this game. I am one of those people who do not believe that. They look like to me that they're just the better team all the way around. They have only lost one regular season game in the last 18 months. That is strictly phenomenal. If Cam Newton does not win that MVP, I said it before, there is something wrong with this pitcher. My final score prediction for the NFL is Carolina 31, Denver 17. Okay, we're going to throw it over to Nicole to finish out the segment. Take it away, Nicole.
I hope that you have enjoyed this edition of The Bottom Line. We've shared with you some Black history information. We've shared with you some information about keeping your heart healthy. We've given you information about how you can have a heart in terms of helping others. We have the King's Table on Saturday, February 13th. We have an organization traveling to Flint, Michigan on Saturday, February 13th. There are many, many opportunities for you to get involved and help others. You never know when it may be your turn to need help. I'm going to end the segment by letting you know that there will be a Mother's Day Music Festival on Saturday, May 7th, 7 p.m., featuring Maze, Frankie Beverly, and Charlie Wilson. If you'd like more information, you can stop by State Rep Potter's office, 2605 North Broome Street, or give his office a call, 302-218-0554. On behalf of the Bottom Line crew, I'm Nicole D. Surrett, and we look forward to seeing you next Monday. Take care.